Sausages get too fatty. Rule 1238, one-handed techniques are needed when fighting against multiple opponents. By occupying two opponents with separate hands, the enemy risks friendly fire if a third person tries to attack. It's an keep enemies close tactic. Rule 1239, there was a variation of a jab that did two hits with the same motion. It was something like a wrist hit to the chin followed by a fist to the throat. Rule 1240, in real fighting, you have to stay fast and avoid telegraphing your moves. Otherwise the enemy can keep dodging until you are tired. Rule 1241, in general martial arts, too, is not about having powerful technique. It is about using the basics so well and creatively enough that you become untouchable. It's all about defense through offense. Rule 1242, the ability to sleep seems to be tied to comfort, physical fatigue and low enough temperature. You can manage the temperature with a wet cloth. Physical exercise and soft enough sheets and pillows should do the rest. Rule 1243, PTSD equals put that shit down. Rule 1244, your cooperation is mandatory. A quote by your state government. Rule 1245, accepted opinions, only accepting few selected opinions is a normie thing. They deeply routinize the specific opinions in hopes of getting their share of benefits. They do not personally care about those views they express, making it evil dishonesty. Evil means selfish in most contexts it is used in. There is an anime about the theme of pretentious selfish dishonesty called 12 Kingdoms. The main character goes through character development where she realizes that her acting like an angelic girl is selfish and annoys people as it is about pretense, not real, and is much like open lying. It is about being a genuine person. The ideal approach to this fan-fad pretense is to keep your opinions to yourselves and use the fandom pretense to your advantage to get most out of those fans. They are not going to accept your genuine opinions unless they are ecstatic about the topic, so you might as well use those people with a little pretense-facilitated give and take on your part. Opinions are not about genuine expression to normies. Play their game as that is all they let you do with them. It is their choice to be that way instead of being themselves. Fandoms are extremely obsessive. Pretend a little obsession of your own and they will give you a lot of free or cheap help in exchange of little validation of their dumb preference obsessions. Rule 1246, personal experience as an infinite talk generator. If you feel you are running out of things to say, you can resort to your personal experience, unless you feel extremely bored about yourself. Just pick any personal experience or something mentioned or brought from the momentary background of your local setting. If you are genuine and bold with your emotions, people will be drawn to your story because of their evolutional socializing instincts involving emotional experience. Emotional stories activate numerous, rare, weak emotions including curiosity at once, and it can feel extremely involving. Not having much to say is a code word for being uncertain whether it is a good idea to reveal one's momentary emotions and to publicly tap into them. It usually is a good idea to express yourself. Even if it is not, that simply means that you are talking to wrong people, in wrong time, or even in wrong location. It rarely is a fault of yours to talk about your genuine feelings. Initiate first by asking nicely and in an open, honest way whether your audience is interested talking about a given, preferably personal topic, and off you will go if the audience remains supportive. I don't have any personal experience with that is a valid way to decline from such a suggestion. You can say I don't mind, say what you want if you want to encourage that kind of open action. Talk about yourself in a balanced, non-serious way and you might have a great time with your audience. Rule 1247, claim your surroundings. To stay self-confident among multiple people, you have to claim your surroundings and everything and everyone that happens to be there at any given moment. Claim your space. That way you will never feel intimidated, because your own stuff trying to jump on you is funny at worst and merely something requiring retraining. Own things and they will be fondly yours. Rule 1248, Goal immersive breath. Exhale in a focused manner with your middle chest as focus and then inhale friskly with the lower chest to produce a raspy, crude breathing sound. That way you will have a kind of serious but relaxed mood that is not breathing optimal and is good for planning and carrying something boring and non-personal. An edgy mood from breathing sharply and suboptimally can help you be productive. Let the breathing pattern take over to avoid getting devastatingly bored at your usual, more delicate moods and breathing modes. Rule 1249, Young Talk. Your only way to make a deep emotional impact is to resort to emotionally captivating and emotionally cheerful talk. To make it more intuitive for yourself to talk people in a captivating, emotional way instead of the boring, logical, explaining way most men do it, imagine yourself as 10 to 15 years younger. Also, imagine speaking to about 10-year-old kids looking for your attention. Considering that they are quick to get bored and cannot really process any logic talk without feeling tired. They also feel bad for not understanding your words' meanings, thus missing your attention they badly crave for. Focus on what makes you feel, for example, smooth, excited, afraid or sad, and ask about that stuff from the others. Does school make you nervous at all? No. You are trying to look cool, aren't you? If you can convince a kid, you can convince an adult too. Feel self-confident about yourself. Rule 1250, Pronouncing the SES. Limiting the unintended airflow. There are specific ways you can make precise the SH and Z sounds. You can do it simply by pressing your tongue evenly against the roof of your mouth and placing the tip close to the teeth. Depending on the tenseness of the tongue, you can create from the softest to the tensest S, SH, and finally the most tense Z sound. The fine S sound takes a lot of precision and it gets lispy easily. You have to make sure the tongue is evenly spread over the roof of the mouth and maintain its intended sound-producing formations. You need to have a fitting, relaxed tongue position, a mouth shape that is an intermediate for the shapes for SH and Z sounds, and a feeling that the tongue is ready to tense for the given S sound. It also helps to raise the lower lip higher to limit and focus the airflow to one tighter flow. Pressing your mouth from the sides and pulling it the jaw flesh little downwards might help if you feel loose and or tired. It is critical to keep the tongue relaxed and to avoid pushing the roof of the mouth with it, which in turn will make you do a SH sound. That is probably because pushing it too hard will make it more difficult to keep the tongue centered, as pushing tends to make it ball up unevenly. The most important detail is that you need to relax to avoid making a wrong sound out of uncontrolled muscle tension. An over-tensed tongue muscle is challenging to control. The core difference with Z, S, and SH sounds is the tensing and positioning your corners of your mouth and cheeks using the muscles in your mouth. For example, Z is produced by gently pushing them upward, S is the downward direction, and SH is no pushing at all. Hence it tends to be the default sound that comes out if you are not skilled enough to make the other two sounds, or if you are tired or drunk. Making a wrong voice is still better than no voice at all, and any level of mispronouncing is minor compared to not being able to produce a vocal sound. That being said, be happy over what you have. A bad tool is million times better than having no tool at all. Use it or you will lose it. Muscles need training to function properly and to maintain their pre-existing function. Making a delicate sound sure is hard work. It is also a very satisfying thing to practice. Try to not train too forcefully too long, or your training session is likely to be cut short due to a tired tongue muscle. Rule 1251, Power accepts all. If you are seriously powerful and self-confident, you can ignore a lot of social rules. For example, men can express their emotions and no one can mess with it without losing the valuable support of the person. So to gain a lot of freedom, aim to become formidable.